So in this video, we'll be discussing structure and reactivity. So it involves the properties and the tendencies of each organic compound to react a certain way. Tapos, i-describe din natin dito kung paano nagtatransform yung mga reactants papunta sa products. So in this discussion, we'll be studying the different types of chemical reactions, okay, sa organic chemistry. We'll also define different elements of reaction mechanism. What are the substrates, conditions, transition states, and intermediates. We'll also discuss bond cleavage mechanism. In the next video, so we'll be discussing the different factors that affect the reactivity of these organic compounds. So marami siyang factors to consider. Okay? And there are some prominent rules. Those are parang mga common rules on deciding which path to take in a reaction mechanism. Nakadepende yon sa stability ng mga intermediates, okay, as the reaction proceeds. So let's begin by reviewing the types of reaction. So the chemical reaction is a transformation, okay? So meron tayong bond breaking and bond forming. So bond forming reactions, okay, according sa review natin, are always exothermic. Okay, so as a bond forms, the energy of the molecule will always be less than that of its constituent atoms. Kasi, as a bond forms, it releases the energy. That energy is equal to the energy needed naman para i-break yung bond na yun. So, therefore, bond breaking is endothermic. Okay? So, in general, chemical reactions can be classified into four. So, meron tayong combination reaction, kapag mas maraming na-form na bonds kaysa sa nag-break. Decomposition reactions, if the reaction is bond breaking, okay, kapag nagkakaroon ka ng decomposition or dumadami yung products which are once part of your reactants. So yun yung decomposition. Displacement, the number of bonds broken is equal to the number of bonds formed. So nagkakaroon ka lang ng parang substitution. Okay? So, rearrangement reactions, nag-iiba lang yung constitution ng mga atoms dun sa yung organic compound. Nag-iiba lang siya ng itsura, pero it has the same molecular formula. Okay? So, exothermic reactions, these are usually the reactions that form bonds. So, kapag nagre-release ng heat, nagpo-form siya ng bonds usually. Or the reaction releases energy through other factors na hindi naman necessarily bond forming. Okay? So, sa endothermic reactions, the reactions require heat. So, these are usually bond-breaking reactions kasi bonds require energy to break. Okay? Again, there are other factors that may be involved in the absorption of heat. Okay? May pwedeng phase transformation, etc. So, pareho lang din nung exothermic reactions. Okay? So, there are four major types of organic reactions. Meron tayong addition reaction. So, pansin nyo, in this particular example, yung HBr, nag-add lang siya dun sa cyclohexane or cyclohexene to form the bromocyclohexane product. There are three subtypes of this addition reaction: free radical, electrophilic, and nucleophilic. Okay? So, we will be discussing this in further detail pagdating natin sa reaction mechanism. So, the next type of reaction is elimination. This is actually the reverse of the addition reaction, where your substrate forms or the part of your substrate disconnects, okay, from your main substrate body. So, from bromocyclohexane, karoon ka ng cyclohexane ulit, plus the HBr. So, na-release yung HBr dun sa reaction. So, na-eliminate siya, ibig sabihin. So, the next type of reaction is substitution. Okay? So, yung H2O na to, magsa-substitute siya sa bromine na to. Okay? So, the OH in the H2O became the substituent of your cyclohexane. So, from bromocyclohexane, naging cyclohexanol na siya. And the Br minus, okay, is the substitute of OH in H2O. Okay? So, ang nag-substitute dito ay yung OH minus. Okay? At ang lumabas ay ang Br minus. Okay? So, that's substitution. So, the subtypes are nucleophilic substitution. So, maraming subtypes ang nucleophilic substitution depending on the mechanism. So there are electrophilic ones, and there are also free radical substitution reactions. Rearrangement, pansin nyo, this okay, compound just rearranged to form a keto. Okay, so this is an example of the keto enol tautomerization. Okay, so a tautomerization reaction between a keto and an enol is a reaction wherein your molecule rearranges itself for higher stability. So this is an enol, this is a cyclohexanol, okay, and this is a cyclohexanone or a keto. Okay, so let's review your naming now. Okay, so there are other types: oxidation, reduction, and condensation. Actually, these other types are can be classified under either addition, substitution, elimination, and rearrangement. But they are actually very distinct, okay, in terms of their patterns of reaction. So oxidation, for example, it's the increase in the number of oxygen in your substrate. So nagpapansin nyo, nagkaroon siya ng 4 na oxygen atoms dun sa compound. Okay? And source of the oxygen is called the oxidizing agent. Okay? So that's the oxidizing agent. So reduction naman, kapag reduction, it's the increase in the number of hydrogen. So it also involves another class of reagents called the reducing agents. Okay, so a reducing agent will increase the number of hydrogen in your system. So ang nangyayari kapag oxidation, okay, nadadagdagan yung degree of unsaturation. Kapag reduction naman, nababawasan yung degree of unsaturation. So that's one of the features of oxidation and reduction. Okay? Condensation reaction is the release of water from a combination of certain reagents, okay, or certain substrates. So in this reaction, an aldehyde reacts with a ketone to form an alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound plus water. So yung release ng water, yung feature ng reaction na to. Okay? So there are two types of bond cleavage. So pag sinabing bond cleavage reaction, or these are also known as bond breaking. Okay? So cleavage ang ibig sabihin, nag-cleave ang iyong bond. So homolysis involves the equal division, okay, of the electron pair. So na didistribute yung electron pair dun sa mga dun sa mga atom, okay, na magbe-break. So for example, this is the electron pair, okay? Yung mga atom, okay, yung mga electron ay equally madidistribute doon sa nag-bond. Okay? So makikita nyo dito, nagkaroon ka na ng free radical na intermediate. Okay, this is not the product. This is just an intermediate because free radical intermediates are unstable. Okay? So kapag ganitong klase ng reaction, okay, kapag mag-show ka ng movement ng electron na may involved na homolysis, or ibig sabihin magta-transport ka ng single electron, you will use a half arrow. Okay? Ang half arrow ay parang line, tapos ganyan lang. Okay? So this transports or pushes, okay, one electron. Okay? So kapag heterolysis naman, yung electron pair na pupunta dun sa isang atom, okay, at naiiwan yung, or nawawala ng electron yung kabilang atom. Okay? So an example is the same compound. So kapag nag-arrow push ka na double-headed naman ang arrow, ang mangyayari, yung iyong electron ay mapupunta, or yung electron pair mo mapupunta sa isang side, at maiiwanan ka ng positive charge kasi ito naman ay nawalan ng electron. Dito neutral pareho. Ang tawag sa kanila ay radical kasi unpaired yung mga electron nila. Dito naman, yung electron pair mo ay nasa isang side, tapos kulang ng isang electron yung kabilang carbon or kabilang atom. Okay? So ang whole arrow, okay, so ang itsura niya ay paganyan. Okay, transports or pushes two electrons or an electron pair. So, pairwise ang transport kapag ka nagpo-push ka using the whole atom. Okay? So, some terminologies. Substrate is a chemical of interest. Yun yung sinusubaybayan natin yung change. Siya yung nag-iiba ng functional group. Siya yung nilalagyan mo ng something para mag-iba. The reagent is something that you add to the substrate para mag-change yung substrate mo. Intermediates. So, nakita na natin kanina yung mga intermediates. They are part of the reaction. Nangyayari sila sa kalagitnaan ng reaction. For example, this particular reaction, okay? So, Cl, okay, plus OH minus, okay? So, kapag ang reaction mo ay may involved na ganito lang, so, aalis muna si Cl, kukunin niyo yung electron pair, magkakaroon ka actually ng intermediate na ganito. Okay, carbocation. Okay, so, anong nangyari dyan? Nawala na yung Cl dyan, ha? Yan, Cl minus. So, hindi na natin siya involved. So, nandito pa rin si OH minus. Okay, this one is called the intermediate. This one is called the substrate. This one is called the reagent. Okay? So, the substrate, yun yung interest talaga natin. The reagent is something that you add, okay, to the substrate para magbago siya ng functional group. So, ang nangyayari, again, magta-transport ng isang pair ng electron, si OH minus, dun sa carbocation, and this forms a product. Okay? This is a product. So, again, substrate, okay, reagent, intermediate, and product. So, an intermediate can be a carbocation. So, this one is a carbocation kasi positively charged to carbon. Carbocation. Pag naman negative, carbanion. Okay? So, yun yung mga different types of intermediates. So, the intermediates exist at the middle of the reaction. Hindi sila naglalast. Okay? Nawawala rin sila after the reaction quenches or ends. So, hindi sila naglalast dun sa kabuuan ng, or sa inyong system. Okay? So, the transition state, however, is part of the reaction that is more theoretical ang nature niya. Hindi naman natin talaga siya na-observe, pero it's the reason why reactions proceed. Okay? So, sa gitna nitong reaction na to, okay, itong reaction na to, may isang intermediate. Okay? So, mamaya makikita natin kung anong itsura ng intermediate. It's actually a high energy state na theoretical ang nature niya. Pero it is actually valid kasi it's proven by some studies, and the transition state theory predicts, okay, the fashion or the geometry of your product and the properties of your product. Okay, the transition state theory is also the reason why we can explain the nature of the catalysts. So, kung paano natin napapabilis yung reaction. Okay, by studying the nature of the transition state. Product is the end product or the final form of your substrate after the reaction. Major product is the expected product. So, yun yung talagang ini-aim mo na ma-form. Okay? So, usually siya yung nag-exist at higher amounts. Okay? And the side product is the unexpected product. Siya yung mga, hindi naman siya necessarily unexpected. Nangyayari siya dahil may mga ibang factors na nakaka-apekto dun sa reaction mo na pwede siyang mag-react in a different way than expected. So, that's side product. Okay? So, to illustrate, this is the overall reaction. Okay? So, overall reactions just show the combination or the reaction between the substrate and the reagent and the expected product. So, yan lang talaga sila. It's just a chemical equation. Okay? The mechanism, okay, illustrates how the reactions happen for each step. So, kapag mechanism na pinag-uusapan, binibigay na natin yung stepwise na nangyayari dito sa reaction. So, again, we have the substrate, the chemical in study or interest. The reagent is what you add to the substrate. So, pag nag-combine sila, magpo-form ng transition state. This is what I'm telling you kanina. The transition state is illustrated with a bracket and this symbol. So, the symbol, okay, transition state. So, this one is theoretical. Okay, papakita niya lang talaga kung paano nagkakaroon ng flow yung electron, okay, from the alkene to the hydrogen and to the bromine. So, kita naman siya sa mechanism. Okay? So, the mechanism shows heterolytic bond cleavage kasi yung mga arrows mo ay buo. Okay? Intermediate one is a carbocation. So, ito, nag-i-exist siya, pero hindi siya nag-i-exist forever dun sa reaction. At the end of the reaction, wala ka na makikitang intermediate. Okay? So, yung bromine na to, it will donate a pair. Okay? Kasi buo na naman yung arrow niya, donate siya para mag-form yung bond. Okay? Showing this transition state again. So, makikita nyo kung paano nagbabind yung bromine dun sa cyclohexane. Okay? So, the final product is bromocyclohexane. So, for each step ng mechanism, may isang transition state. So, sa bawat arrow na makikita mo, dapat may transition state doon. Okay? But, sometimes hindi na natin inilalagay si transition state sa mechanism. Kasi, sometimes it's already understood that there is a transition state. Okay? So, that's how you interpret this reaction. So, minsan, hindi na natin ini-include yung transition states. So, okay na ipakita na lang natin agad si intermediate. Okay? So, this reaction has two steps. So, this is the first step. Okay? Itong line na to. And this is the second step. Okay? So, the number of intermediates. Okay? Is equal to the number of steps minus 1. Ganun lagi. Kasi, kapag 2 steps ang reaction, nasa gitna yung intermediate. Kapag 3 steps ang reaction, dalawa yung intermediate. Okay? So, it depends on the type of mechanism of the reaction kung gaano karami yung kanyang magiging intermediate. So, you will see in the future kung paano magsulat ng mechanism depending on the reactivity and the structure of your compounds. Okay? So, see you next video. So, sa next video, i-discuss na natin yung mga factors affecting the structure and reactivity of your organic compounds.